I want to start by saying thank you to Coach Battles, who's here today. This was our vision when we first met in terms of trying to put a team on the floor that can compete for championships, develop student athletes that could be very productive in the community, do well academically, and go on to live productive lives. Some of those student athletes potentially in the future could have an NBA career, which we would support. But if not, we want them to graduate from the University of Alabama, potentially get their master's degree here, and go on to be valuable citizens and assets to our community. So thank you, Coach Battle, for all your support. It really means a lot. And the support of our president, Dr. Stewart Bell, all of our trustees. This is the result of everybody pulling in the same direction. This is not about Avery Johnson. This is about a group of people that have the same vision, that have great communication, and at the end of the day, when we leave the room, we all agree upon the same thing. I want to thank our coaching staff, Bob Simon, Coach Antoine Petway, John Pelfrey. Those guys work endless hours to build relationships with a lot of these recruits and their families. And a lot of times they may bring me in to potentially close the deal, but they're the guys that's the first 8 innings guys. And we have a plan, we have a strategy. So I want to thank them. Also, I want to thank every faculty member that met with a lot of our families when they come on campus for tours. Everybody, led by Lance Walker, our academic advisor, that we have a world-class academic support system here. And I say that not only as a parent, as a coach, but as a parent. So I want to thank every faculty member that's met with a lot of our prospective student athletes. Also, I want to thank Coach Saban. Coach Saban's been huge. I think he's met with 4 out of 5 of our 2017 recruits, and that's been very instrumental. He's embraced me and my family since day one, and that's continued. So I want to thank him and all of his staff for meeting with our prospective student athletes. So this is a big day for University of Alabama basketball, not just with our game tonight, but with this 2017 class. And sure, wherever we're ranked, it's a #1 class in my mind. So wherever we rank nationally, that's great. But this is a huge day for us because when Coach Battle decided to hire me for this job, we talked about putting a fence around Alabama. That's what we said in our introductory press conference. And we've done that. We've signed the top 3 players in the state of Alabama. And sure, all of our kids have to come in and develop. And, you know, this class is going to be judged by their production on the floor. And that's great. But we have to start somewhere. And all 3 of our kids from Alabama, we're very high on those kids in terms of their character and in terms of the way they can be coachable and compete on the floor. And we also talked about trying to win the battle of some of the surrounding states. So in terms of having, we think, the top big man out of the state of Mississippi, we believe we have the top guard in the state of Georgia. And combining all of those efforts, that's how we've arrived at this 2017 class. We've also been very competitive in states that are not connected to Alabama. And we believe that, you know, we came in second with another 5-star player that decided to go to a Pac-12 school, and we wish he and his family all the best. But he came here on an official visit all the way from Las Vegas, and we were right there. We were right there to the very end. So that's just a product of what all of the hard work a lot of people have put into our program, our facility upgrades, student section here at our games, the way our lettermen have contributed to our program, coming back on campus. So it's just been a really collaborative, strategic effort on the part of a lot of people that have helped us get to this point. So I'll stop right there, open it up for questions. But this is a big day for our program.
Thank you, Coach. Again, just a reminder, raise your hand if you have a question. We're going to start up front here with Alex.
Avery, I just was hoping you would put some context to this. I mean, one of the top classes ever in Alabama history. A five-star guy in state. Just kind of can you speak to that a little bit? Just the context of it.
Yeah, I just think when you talk about some of the success that our great coaches have had here in the past, we had guys like Bobby Lee Hurt, right, from the Huntsville area, come to Alabama. And, one of our current players, Riley Norris, is from the Huntsville area. So now to have, John Petty from Huntsville decide to come to Alabama and not go to another school, that's huge for us. In the past, we've had, guys like Mo Williams and Derek McKee from Mississippi. So now we have Galen Smith, that decided to come to Alabama from Mississippi. And, we've had, great players like our friend Brian Pasnick from Georgia. But now Colin Sexton decided, okay, I want to come to Alabama. And let me remind people that, Colin Sexton really blew up last summer. But I just want to make sure everybody understands that I got hired here April 8th, and I'm almost positive that Colin Sexton came on campus June 21st. And that's when we identified him as an elite player when I don't think he was ranked in the top 200. But he came on our campus, and then he came to football games and tailgates, and I think it led to him being on our campus about 6 different times. So our relationship with him just didn't happen last night or a month ago. We've been building the relationship with he and his family for a long time.
Just how important was it to sign a full class, in your opinion?
I think it was huge because, in terms of what we talked about when we first got here, we didn't make any false promises that we were going to be an overnight sensation. We talked about building. We talked about developing. And I think when you're trying to develop and build, it's not a magic wand. I know we're in a microwave Twitter society, social media, but it's not overnight. If you want to build a sustainable product in any business, and we talk about the book Good to Great, which is one of our themes, it's about sustainability. And we think, a lot of our current players that are going to be returning next year, that's going to blend with this recruiting class, then we think we're going to have something special. But it's a process. It's a process. And we're going to be playing against teams in our conference and out of conference that's going to try to beat us. So we have to be ready. And we have to continue to grow it and get better on the floor. Guys got to develop great practice habits. None of our kids have played in the game yet. But we think in terms of our evaluation that they really project high moving forward. But they're going to have to put in the work.
Coach, do you look at this class as 5 guys, one at each position, or are there guys that are versatile enough, like Herb, like John?
I think it's a combination. Petty can play 1, 2, and 3. Colin can play on and off the ball. Herb can play 1, 2, and 3. Galen can play 4 and 5. Reese can play 4 and 5. A lot of versatility. That's what we're after. It makes you harder to scout. But if Colin is only a 1 and Petty's only a 2 and Reese is only a 4, that's not what we're after. The game is about versatility. You look at, the team that won the championship last year, versatility. You look at the NBA finals last year, lots of versatility across the board. back when I played, I was only a point guard. I'm still dreaming about being a two. Okay?
Coach, when you first got this job, there were questions about how you would handle recruiting and how you would even enjoy the recruiting process. Just kind of talk about how you've embraced that process and going into homes and building relationships with kids and all that kind of thing.
When Coach Battles and I met, the idea was not just about can I recruit, what do we have to sell? You know, and when you come, the main thing is if we thought as a staff, if we could get kids on campus, we have a lot to sell. This is a beautiful campus. There's not a piece of grass that's out of order here. We got the best landscaping department, academics, social life. Look at all of our varsity sports. If you love sports, this is the place to be. So we have a lot to sell here. We travel first class. We have first class facilities. We have I think a top-notch coaching staff to go along with my resume. So it wasn't so much whether I could recruit. How can we partner together and have something to sell? And we think, we have a lot of rich tradition here. And now a lot of our players are coming back on campus, helping us to, talk about how maybe our recent history hasn't been that great, but we have a lot of players that's played in the NBA, and that's something that's been very positive. But as I've said, I had a son that was a recruitable student athlete. I met with 25 or 50 coaches that either came to recruit him or some of his friends. So I had a little bit of a leg up on the recruiting in terms of what I would do if I ever became a college coach and what I wouldn't do. So I took a lot of mental notes during that process, and I learned a lot. And I visited other campuses. You got to remember, I visited 10 or 15 different campuses, and I looked at other coaches' presentations and what how their vision, the way they shared their vision. And I figured if I ever became a college coach, there was a specific way I was going to articulate the vision of the program, and some things I liked and didn't like that I saw on other campuses, and all of those things have come together here at the University of Alabama.
Are you at all surprised with how kind of quickly you got that number 2 class, number 3 class? I mean, in your tenure here, usually that kind of takes some time, and you went for the stars, so to speak.
The plan was, when I arrived, we knew we were going to be behind, with 2016 for sure. So the target was 15 and a little bit of 16, but the target was 17 was always the goal. So, who are the top players in 17? Not just on some draft board, okay, or some website. I need to see all of the top kids in 17, and then I need to find a couple of diamonds in the rough. I need to find some kids that maybe not are ranked, but after I watch video of them attend their AU or high school games, talk to their families, talk to the kids. As much as the kids are interviewing us and the families, I'm interviewing them. So after we did all of our research, we identified a pool of about 15 kids that we thought, we really wanted to go after very hard and make them a priority. And we knew we weren't going to get all of those kids, but we thought if we could get 5 out of the 15, that we would have a solid class, and fortunately it worked out for us.
Coach, how do you use this momentum for this season, and how much does it help just this early momentum from this class kind of set up this season?
This is a relationship-driven business, and hopefully we will continue to have great relationships and build momentum with all of the great high school coaches, AAU coaches, specifically in the state of Alabama and all of the surrounding states that's within what Coach Pelfrey likes to use the word footprint, okay? So hopefully we'll continue to build a relationship with all of those guys. Joel Floyd, who's Alex Reese's coach, and, Robert Shannon, who was Herb Jones' AAU coach, and I can go on and on. Of course, Jack Doss, Petty's coach. So if we can continue to build that momentum with these coaches and take really good care of the players on and off the court, that's going to continue to build momentum and confidence that we can do the job. And those particular prospective student athletes, they don't need to go to other places. Also, I'm hoping that this is going to send a message to our current student body here on campus that we're serious about this and that our administration is serious about basketball. And I'm hoping that we'll get an uptick in terms of season ticket sales, our students coming to our games, getting here early, and being loud, rowdy, and proud at our games. Last year I think we recorded 5 sellouts. Hopefully we'll double that this year. So I'm hoping that momentum will continue to build great relationships with coaches and prospective student athletes, but also send a message with our current student body that we need your support. We need our season ticket supporters to attend games because we need bodies in the seat here at Coleman Coliseum because it's a beautiful thing. It provides a lot of energy and support to our current team that are out there battling every minute to bring home a win.
Coach, this is probably cart before the horse a little bit in terms of what you've been thinking about, but next November, next December, there's going to be a lot of interest in these guys. Will you try and schedule the kind of games that'll get them on television, get people in here?
Yeah, that's been another big thing for us, trying to schedule appropriately. Last year, there was some talk about maybe we schedule a little bit too heavy for that team. But if we thought if we were going to have any chance of potentially making it to the tournament, you have to schedule appropriately. And it's the same thing this year. We absolutely understand that tonight's game, by the way, is a tough game. This is a really good team, with a veteran coach. And, Dayton's coming in here Tuesday, enough said. And, going to Oregon and Texas and playing Clemson in Birmingham. But we still think the schedule is a solid schedule for this year's team. Now, next year's team, based on, where we are after this year and, maybe we'll go a little bit heavier. We right now, we're in the process of talking about some games, and you'll hear more about it. But we're not going to schedule 10 top 15 teams, but we think we're going to have some competitive situations next year with our schedule, and we think next year's schedule is probably going to non-conference schedule is going to be a little bit tougher than this year's. And let me say one more thing, and that's why, we're in the process of talking about, you guys already know this, a foreign tour, because now we qualify for it. It's every 4 years. That's going to be important for us to go play 3 or 4 games in August. And that's why we've talked about, and I've talked to Coach about it, about maybe playing 2 exhibition games instead of playing a scrimmage and an exhibition. Because we think next year's team, we're going to need to get some games under our belt before the non-conference schedule starts.
Just because we haven't talked about it yet, can you give your evaluations of all 5 of the signees, just kind of where you see them, where their games are? I know you just said they're versatile, but, what do you see? Break their games down a little bit.
Galen Smith, high energy, big man, great hands. We think he's going to probably put on 25 pounds, when Lou Deneen finishes with him with our strength and conditioning department. But tough, hard-nosed, great rebounder. We obviously continue to need help in the area of rebounding. But a terrific rebounder, finishes around the basket well with both his left and right hand. And this is something Coach Pelfrey and I talk about a lot of times. When he walked in the door, his big thing was, we got to get more big guys. We got to get more big guys. We did it at Florida. He had guys like Al Horford and Joakim Noah And they turned out pretty good, right? So, he kept saying, we got to get big guys. And that's why we went after Galen. Alex Reese, 6'10", 235 pounds. He has that high ceiling in terms of, being able to handle the ball as a big man, shoot threes, rebound, terrific post player. I've seen a guy like him before at the same age that I played with in the NBA. So we're excited about him. Herb Jones, I know some people may have Herb Jones floating between a 3 and a 4-star. All of our players are 5 stars, by the way, in my mind. Herb Jones is a lanky 6'7" kid. Obviously, he's got to put on some weight, but he can flat out play. He can shoot the ball, left-handed, unorthodox, great passer, decision maker. We think he has a high ceiling. John Petty, I think last night, 35 points, 5 threes. He's capable of doing that every night. 6'6", strong body, can really handle the ball, underrated passer, tough. You're going to hear me say that a lot about our recruits. Great court vision, can shoot the 3, can post up, solid free throw shooter. And all of our big guys are solid free throw shooters. Colin Sexton, he's a stud. He has that Kyrie Irving type of a game. 6'1", 6'2", good body, can do it all. Can shoot the 3. He has a knack for getting to the free throw line, which I like. He gets to the free throw. He shoots 88% from the free throw line. Doesn't miss his free throws. And very competitive. All of our guys are very competitive on the defensive end. So, Petty, Colin, Herb, Galen, and Reese, they're all very competitive. They can defend their positions. And one of the things also you guys got to keep in mind, this really doesn't complete our 2017 class. We have another young guy that's in our redshirt program, Daniel Giddings, who's 6'10" and a half. He's getting stronger, getting bigger, terrific shot blocker, rebounder, improving his ball handling skills. And he has 3 years left. So we're excited. So it's not just 5 guys. We have a 6th guy that's going to be a part of this class that's coming in. Okay? I just want to say one more thing. I want to thank all of our parents of our recruits. I want to thank Walter and Van Jones, Herb Jones' parents. I want to thank Brian and Rebecca Reese, Alex Reese's parents. I want to thank Darnell and Gia Sexton, Colin's parents. I want to thank Donna Shea and Clifton Smith, Galen's parents. And I want to thank Miss Regina Petty, John Petty's mom, for all of their support and trust in us. This is about trust. And they trust not only the University of Alabama and our coaching staff, but they trust Coach Avery, and we appreciate all of their support. Roll Tide. Thanks a lot.